welcome back to a brand new episode of Danny and Courtney Talk About. I'm Danny, and with me, as always, is.
Courtney, also known as animation enthusiast.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you could join me. Now, today's episode is particularly special because we have a special guest joining us. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, it's me, Kev, otherwise known as the goddamn Lizard Man, folks, and someone said help, they're keeping me here against my will.
Oh, Kev, he's so silly.
He sure is. Anyway, today's episode is also special because we're going to talk about a movie that, for some odd reason, is not talked about that much, at least in video reviews. And yet I think it deserves to be talked about because there's a lot to say on it. That movie is none other than Kung Pow, Enter the Fist. Now, Courtney, would you mind telling everyone what it's about?
Basically, the movie Kung Pow tells the story of a man known as the Chosen One, who was a great warrior with the supreme gift. After his family was killed by the evil Master Pain, or Betty as he's later called, the Chosen One goes on a journey to find the man who took everything from him. Along the way, he receives training from the wise Master Tang at his martial arts school, learns to master his fighting skills, meets many acquaintances including the kind Ling and the annoying wimp Lo, and eventually uses his powers to defeat the evil council and save everybody. Oh, and much hilarity ensues.
Yep, that's pretty much the movie in a nutshell. As Courtney just said, there is a lot of hilarity in this movie, as this is a good example of one of those martial arts comedy movies.
Oh, yes, it is. Now, however, what makes this movie stand out from other martial arts comedies like Kung Fu Hustle, the Kung Fu Panda movies, and even some of Jackie Chan's filmography is the fact that half of this movie is taken from an old martial arts film from Hong Kong known as Tiger and Crane Fist, while the other half contains new scenes created by the film's director, Steve Oderkirk. With the old scenes, Oderkirk dubbed over all the original actors and gave them all really silly voices and changed their dialogue to help make it funnier. What I'm pretty much getting as that this is pretty much the first abridged movie, sort of like Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged or Dragon Ball Z abridged.
Right, that's all true, including the part with all the silly voices. Now, for many people going into this movie, this could be a deal breaker. You're either going to love and be charmed by all the silliness, or you're going to find it really annoying. Now, Kev and I are already very familiar with this movie, but this was Courtney's first time seeing it. Would you mind sharing with us what you thought of the movie?
I loved it. I really loved this movie. I thought it was really funny, and I just had a great time watching it for all of its silliness. I'm glad I saw this movie. Thank you for recommending this to me.
You're most certainly welcome, Courtney. Now, I really like this movie a lot too. I find a lot of the jokes funny. I think the silly voices adds a certain charm to the film. I think that some of the added visual effects are very impressive for the time, and I think it's just a fun movie to watch when you're in a silly mood. Oh, and this movie is very quotable.
Oh, yes, it is indeed so quotable. In fact, some of these lines are just so ridiculous and silly that they're perfect for various different memes and situations. In fact, let's roll a few of the most memorable ones here.
I mean, crap, man. Look at that. That's like his stomach plug on the ground back there.
Master!
Again with the squeaky shoes. Oh, Taco Bell. Product placement with Taco Bell. Injarito, macho burrito.
Master Tang, what are you doing here?
I've come to kick ass.
Okay, I'll shake your bouncy booty. Hit it!
Can't touch this.
Hmm.
Can't touch this.
I'll never make it, ever. Don't you see you can make it?
I implore you to reconsider.
Okay.
Look inside yourself, Chosimba. You must take your place in the great circle of stuff.
Yes, killing is badong. From this moment, I will stand for the opposite of killing. Gnadab. I'll take a pound of nuts. That's a lot of nuts!
Those are all such great quotes and scenes. I especially like that fifth one. Let's see if it works in real life. Say, Courtney, please give me $500.
No, I'm not gonna give you $500.
I implore you to reconsider.
No way, you're not getting any of money off me.
Oh, man.
Well, to be fair, there are way more lines than just that, though we can't really show them all here because, one, timely, and two, just watch it.
Yes, now let's move on to another subject. So, Courtney, who's your favorite character in this movie?
I'd probably have to say Ling because I thought she was really funny. That includes when she constantly goes, wee, 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 which I know many people might find annoying, but I thought it was quite funny.
There's actually a reason behind that. As I mentioned before, half of this movie is dubbed over from an already existing movie. So I guess in the original film, Ling had much more lines, and to make up for the extra lip movement, Odenkirk just had to make those really random noises.
Right, well, I still found it funny.
My favorite character was probably Master Payne, or Betty if you prefer. I thought he was hilarious, especially when you consider the fact that he's supposed to be the big scary villain, and yet he's got a really nasally voice, as well as some even more ridiculous lines of dialogue. Basically, I thought he was the most enjoyable character in the movie.
Yeah, I like him a lot too, but I think my other favorites would have to be Master Tang. I just find it so hilarious that he's supposed to be this wise old mentor figure, and yet he too says the most ridiculous things to ever be said. In fact, one of my favorite scenes in the movie is the one where we saw earlier of him breaking the character as the narrator right after the Chosen One punches a hole through a guy's stomach.
That's actually a good place to transition. Now, Courtney, what was your favorite scene or joke in the movie?
I think it would probably have to be the scene where the Chosen One has that fight with the cow. I just thought it was hilarious seeing that because you'd never expect to see a person fight with a cow like that. Plus, just the visual of a cow doing kung fu alone is just hilarious. What about you, Danny? What was your favorite scene or joke?
That's a tough one because there are too many good jokes and scenes. But if I had to pick one, it would probably be the scene where Master Tang is sharing some backstory. That scene is just so funny, it just has to be shown.
I remember a long time ago when a good friend of mine told me there would be a chosen one.
There will be a chosen one.
Then he told me of the significance.
It will be significant.
And then he killed the dog.
Insert
Yeah,
clip here.
that scene is pretty funny.
I'm glad you think so. Now time for some trivia. Now remember when it was said earlier that director Steve Odenkirk did all the voices for the movie?
Yes.
Well, there is one character who's actually voiced by the actress playing her. That character is Woe, and she's notable for having only one boob.
I remember her. She was pretty funny for her brief moment on screen.
And here's another bit of fun trivia. Now, as you may have probably noticed, the Chosen One is played by the director as well. And for a scene where he interacts with the other characters from the original film, what they did was they used digital technology at the time to stick the director's face onto the main character's body. And it's really pretty seamless, especially for its age.
Yeah, that was a pretty good effect. Plus, it's just hilarious to see such an out-of-place actor in old scenes like that.
Yeah, I agree. Scenes like that just add to the movie's silly nature. It definitely works.
Well, yes. So, I guess this is part where we have our final thoughts. Right?
Indeed it is. Overall, I give Kung Pow a big thumbs up. I found it to be a hilarious movie with a lot of memorable lines and silly moments, and I would definitely recommend it, especially if you want to see some guy fight a cow.
Yeah, I recommend this too. I give this movie a big thumbs up, and if you're in the mood for some really silly comedy as well as some silly voices, then I think you'll get a kick out of this. No
I
pun
also
intended.
I also give this movie a thumbs up and really go watch it, and hopefully at some point we'll get Kung Pow 2 Tongue of Fury.
Yeah, let's hope that happens.
Unlike
Anyway,
Spaceballs the animated series.
yeah, that's a good point. But anyway, that was our review, and we hope you guys check this movie out as soon as possible. In the meantime, it was wonderful having you join us, Kev.
Yeah, thanks for having me part of this review. Now, can I go home now?
Yes, you can go home now.
Yes! Haha! See you, suckers!
Anyway, this was Danny saying, I am awesome, so are you. You are especially awesome, Courtney.
And you're awesome too, Danny.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Now, let's end off with some Chosen One dancing.
Yes, and before we go, let's remember, killing is badong. Enjoy.
I could dance like that. If I felt like